Welcome to pedroTV. Buenas Cameron Diaz. We're here today at the Vanishing Point Art Gallery for an exhibition called iNTervention. It's a great pleasure to welcome Teena McCarthy, the curator of the show, with her co-curator, Mr. Brendan Penzer. Welcome, and welcome to...
Yeah, I'd like to say welcome to country on behalf of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and acknowledge all the owners, past and present, that have gone before us.
Okay, thanks, Teena. Now, Brendan, maybe I'll start with you. This is a part of the mentor curating program you've got.
The emerging mentorship curate. Let me get that right.
Yeah, take your time, Brendan.
The emerging curators mentorship program that we run.
Right.
Take on 4 aspirational curators a year.
Okay.
Who haven't necessarily had much experience. Mostly haven't had any experience in putting together a show for the public.
Oh, right.
Take them through the process of putting on a show from their initial idea to documentation and seeing off the artworks at the end. So
Okay, well, great. That's a good introduction for Teena. Now, did Teena approach you about the idea? Was that?
I actually approached Teena because I'd been speaking with Elaine and Gordon Siren, whose work's over there.
Right.
After a show we had last year for the election for marginal democracy. So
Right.
Came up with the seed for the idea then, and then I approached Teena and asked her if she'd be interested in getting involved and curating.
So Teena, were you immediately intrigued or interested, or what happened? Tell me.
Yeah, no, I think that both Brendan and I are passionate about what's happening politically in this country, what isn't happening. And I went to a forum for Indigenous artists that had some fairly big names at it, that was filmed for the ABC.
Right.
Called Indig Q&A, which was on at Carriageworks.
Yep.
And there was leaders from each state on the board, and they were all talking about representation in the arts and how we represented as Indigenous artists.
Okay.
What struck me that night was they did bring up the topic of the intervention.
Right.
And they all agreed that it was not something that could be discussed in the arts, and said that it was, they all had fear about talking about it. It was too full on to talk about.
Too full on politically, or?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Probably, okay.
Just,
but
they basically were all like, we're too scared to touch it.
Okay.
And Brendan had already talked to me about it, and talked to Elaine about it. And Elaine was in the audience that night. So I didn't actually speak. It was filmed by the ABC. I didn't speak as an audience member, but I got up and spoke to Elaine at the end of that.
Right.
Let's do this idea about the intervention.
Okay.
Let's not this. And she was like, "Yep, I'm going to. Gordon will do a special piece.
Yeah. Okay.
Put it in writing.
Shall we?
Diary.
Shall we have a look at Gordon's piece? Yeah. Let's go. So. We'll jump into Gordon's. So here we are.
So here we have Gordon Siren's work and Elaine Siren's work.
Okay, so Elaine did the left-hand side kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the photographic assemblage, eh?
All of these photographs are works of hers.
And the wall writing and text and
wall writing and text.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I love this work. I think it's one of the most powerful things in the whole show.
Right. Okay. So the photographs are just historical documents, or recent sort of things?
They're historical documents.
Okay.
Mum Shell, who,
Yeah, she was at the talks.
No longer with us.
Oh, no,
it's
okay.
Mum Shell. We've got a different Auntie Shell now.
Okay. All right.
But yes, another good, strong Auntie Shell doing the same kind of work, being a leader in the community.
Right.
She actually led the Stop the Intervention rally, which I also marched in on. Invasion/survival/Oz trailer.
Right.
Trash day.
Yeah.
And each photo here is, you kind of get an idea of how much work Elaine's been documenting in this town. Right. From this, fantastic
theatrical performances and protests and...
It's also all work about the achievements of individual Aboriginal people.
Right, okay. Now on this, and the painting is...
And this is Gordon Sarens.
And that's a kind of response to the work, or is there a connection with the writing and the documentation, or...?
Yeah, and then he wrote this, which was fantastic.
Okay.
Hitler being one of the first to do a kind of intervention, if you like.
Yeah.
It's something that I'd written in my little black book about doing this. The idea of doing this show was one of the first things I thought about. So it was interesting that Gordon wrote that on the wall.
Right, okay.
But yeah, he made this work, especially for this show. So
good.
from that moment that she wrote in my book, Gordon will do a special piece for you and put it in writing that night.
And you
he started doing this work.
Right. And did you gave you some confidence, or how did you feel about that? Yeah, a lot of confidence
to go ahead. Because I never curated and hadn't thought about curating before. But it was really more just a matter of the heart.
Okay.
As to why I wanted to get involved in. I'm very passionate about it.
Right. Yeah.
About it.
Yeah, it shows.
So it's a really interesting work, I reckon.
Anything else in this room, particularly Brendan or Teena, you want to discuss? There's lots of paintings. There's Adam Hill, amazing Adam Hill piece with again the Hitler symbol.
The Hitler and also the Buddhist symbol.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I think it's interesting that it's got those double meanings.
We've got a great film here.
We've got little movies.
made by kids up in the Northern Territory.
Little movies and
For public community.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can.
Community. I actually was meant to go.
Yeah.
I was asked to go on this and be employed on this particular journey.
Right.
Because I've been teaching and working in Alice Springs for years. Previous. So Teena Havelock-Stevens asked me if I could go up with her as a liaison between her and the community.
Right.
Sadly, I wasn't well enough to go at the time, and she took her partner, Jackie Farkas,
Okay.
a very well-known filmmaker.
Okay.
And then they decided to facilitate these films where the children all documented and made little mini storyboards, which are fantastic.
Okay, I get you,
Yeah, these ones the boys made masks, and you can see the little film with them putting the masks
Oh,
on.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, and then there's the snake one.
Okay.
So, and they made collages, which they put in the work. So in the little movies is what they are.
Okay.
You see the collages that the boys made, the masks.
Right.
These came like a couple of nights before we opened. And they were just like a total gift, I thought, because once again it's sort of been about the children, this whole intervention.
Yeah, right.
So I think the children are really just to show the light and the joy and life on the community.
Some damn fine soccer players there.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the guy skipping the rope as well.
Yeah, no, they're really cool. And they're
half an
all
hour.
decked out in their Adidas and their American, as I was saying earlier, the rather influence used to be the Rasta story, but now it's very much the American rap.
Okay.
Hence the music.
Brendan, got any thoughts, anything you want to discuss while we're in this room? Or?
Maybe Teena could talk about the two works that we've got from the Northern Territory from artists.
Yeah, so this is Amanda Gorry's work. She is an Aranda artist from Santa Teresa Mission, also known as La Ginger Porter in Aranda. This was pretty much the first place that Howard sent in the army to when the intervention first started. It's a very peaceful, very special Catholic mission.
Okay.
And it has some leading artists there who established a place called Coringa Arts many years ago.
Right.
So we have Amanda Gorry, who is a very busy young woman who has her first solo show in Melbourne, which is about to happen next month.
Okay.
She recently sold her work for $10,000 in Melbourne. Richard Branson picked up one of hers recently.
Would you like to briefly explain the story, or
these spirit figures, I believe, are especially only allowed to be painted by certain artists.
Right. Because it's a totem thing, or
it's a totem. It's a, and being family members, both Jane, who's a senior elder artist out there, and Amanda are allowed to paint these spirit figures. She talks about the blanket, the rollout of the blanket rollout effect, of the intervention being a one-size-fits-all thing, basically labelling everyone the same thing, and that it's just not like that. It's we're all different, and we should all be treated differently.
Right. Okay.
It's wrong in that way that they've done it. So she's talking about that.
Okay.
Just that.
Okay.
Yeah. But Munda also works, apart from being a young mother and having a couple of young ones, she's moved up to Darwin to sort of lead and have a better life up there, essentially. And, although the intervention's still up there, there's possibly better opportunities for her up there.
Okay.
She also teaches young women traditional, bringing back to country culture.
Okay.
About people that have got a bit lost and stuff.
Okay.
Amanda's a leader as a young, strong Arundel woman.
Yeah, who can relate to younger people.
Yeah, and teaching people about bush food and bush medicine and how to be more traditional and less urban, less effective. Okay, so we'll walk, unless there's anything else, we just walk through to the smaller gallery, the back projection gallery. Okay, it's Peter McGuinness's gallery. And hear Brendan talk about his beautiful...
Yeah, I'd like to ask Brendan, because I was quite impressed when I first saw the work. I didn't even I remember asking you, where'd you get you told me it was a jigsaw, and I couldn't even, it took me a while to actually look through the text which you've created over a jigsaw.